So there's this new character that I'm learning about in the Diddy case, and her name is Kristina Khorram. And apparently she is his Ghislaine Maxwell. You know how the Epstein guy, he had this woman, Ghislaine, who ended up basically being the face of the whole filthy thing with Epstein and Prince Andrew and all of these other power players. I think Epstein knew Trump and he knew Bill Clinton, and all of these guys hung out. But in the end, it was Ghislaine Maxwell who was the heavy, right? And she's the only one who really did any time because apparently she was Epstein's right hand woman and she would procure all of the underage girls to bring them to Epstein, etc., etc. And so Diddy, who is being compared to Epstein, is said to have had his own Ghislaine Maxwell, and this woman's name was Kristina, or is Kristina Khorram. And apparently Diddy has said that Kristina keeps everything in my life and my business running, and she has been with him since 2013. So more than 10 years, more than a decade, she's been running his life behind the scenes. She's like a power player in his inner circle. And so there's this video, I haven't listened to it, on E Times, which basically says here, Kristina Khorram is report. What last name is that? That's like, is she what, Iranian, Arab? What? It's a very strange name. Kristina Khorram is reportedly being considered a key figure in the ongoing investigation linked to sex trafficking involving U.S. rappers. Although Diddy's chief of staff has not been charged with any crime, she has been described as his quote unquote right hand in a past Facebook post. Karam joined Bad Boy Entertainment in 2013 and became chief of staff in 2020. Reports indicate that she is a key gatekeeper with extensive knowledge about the alleged activities. Right. So it sounds like, God forbid, Diddy should commit suicide in prison. This woman could end up being the next Ghislaine Maxwell. And apparently she recently quit also. Correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding is that she has tendered her resignation to Bad Boy Entertainment. The thing is with these types of things, you can never tell. When you get in, everything just looks so normal. And before you know it, you're getting a nice big paycheck, you're living the life, you're in the inner circle of powerful, rich people. And the next thing you know, things blow up and your whole life is up in smithereens. All along, you think, oh, it's grandy lag. You have a great job. You can buy your fancy car. You have your fancy condo overlooking, I don't know what, the North Atlantic, whatever, wherever you live. And you work for these people and you think, oh my gosh, and then all it really is your road to hell. It's not your road to the good life, it's your road to hell. Because I don't know who this woman is, right? But now she's suddenly being compared to Ghislaine Maxwell, right? Because everybody's basically saying that she's the one who really helped Diddy to get all these underage girls. Now, I say underage girls in quotes because I don't know that this man ever had anything to do with underage girls. I know Epstein did, and that's why Ghislaine Maxwell got into trouble. But my understanding really is that Diddy, you know, he trafficked people, but they were all, consenting. They were consultants, some of them, yes, but they were consenting adults. But the story keeps shifting and changing, and so we will definitely have to wait to see what the evidence actually produces during trial. Were any of these people underaged, or were these all consenting adults? Because that's also very key to the sex trafficking case as well as the RICO case, I would think, and all three prongs of the charges that were filed against Mr. Combs. But the issue is what is Kristina Khorram's role in all of this. She just seems so kind of random, doesn't she? She doesn't seem to fit in with, the rest of the characters in this story at all. Who is she? You don't hear her name in the press. I certainly have never heard of her before, like yesterday, maybe. And to imagine that behind the scenes, she's basically been running this thing, Well, what is the thing is she running? Is she running his freak offs, or is she running his business? And the thing is that, again, you know, people are trying to, and certainly the prosecution in this case is trying to tie the business to the freak offs, but really there may not be such a direct or strong link between the two. They're trying to link the two because they want to prove their RICO case, right? But it's possible that this woman was indeed running his business empire, Bad Boy Entertainment, right? While he's busy in one of his houses having parties in private rooms with, many different people at once and filming it, and it has nothing to do with her or with his business enterprises. And this is going to be very, very important in this case, is to disentangle the business prong of his world and his life from his private, immoral, and sexual conduct, right? So for the prosecution, it's important to tie all of it together so that they can bring down his business, and then they can confiscate and forfeit all of his profits, all of his property, etc., simply because he engaged in these, you know, freak offs, right? But I mean, if what we have in the end is a bunch of adults who got together, decided to take drugs, which people do, adults take drugs. Many, many adults. Not every adult, okay? I don't take drugs, but many adults take drugs, right? And they have free will. They go to parties to get the drugs to take. That's the thrill of the party. That's what they want, is the drugs. They want drugs, they want drinks, they want hardcore whatever. They go to find it. I'm not saying that's the case in this instance, but I'm saying that it wouldn't shock me because this happens. People go to parties for the drugs, right? So if the prosecution is not able to prove that these women were underage or men were underage, right? And this man forced or surreptitiously drugged these people, then there's no case, because if they took the drugs um, freely and intentionally, for themselves, because they want the drugs, they like the drugs, they enjoy drugs. Some people enjoy drugs. Let's be honest about it, right? And they engaged in these, freak offs because they want to engage in it. They went to the party for it. Some of them do. They went 10 years. They knew this was going on. They like it. They like it. Just say it. And now when, the bleep hits the fan, oh, I was abused. Oh my gosh. Even one of them from Danity Kane, I believe it is, she sued him and she roped in one of her friends, or her one of her musicians, or whatever it was. And I read in People, this woman said, that's not my recollection. Her recollection is not my recollection of these events and these facts. So what they do is they rewrite history after the fact. And so the prosecution is going to try to do that, and is going to get a lot of help from these people, all of whom are trying to get money, whether civilly or criminally, from this guy, right? And so they're going to have to prove it. And one of the things they are going to have to prove is that, he was indeed running a criminal business enterprise for the purpose of making a profit from these freak offs, which is what would then implicate Kristina Khorram, right? I mean, what was her role? Was her role running this man's business empire, which is totally separate from his sick little orgies that he was having, probably in a state where she could have been in New York while he's out in Miami or California with his nonsense, right? Or alternatively, she could be a part of this experience. I mean, I have no idea. How would I know? I need to see the data. I need to see the facts. I need to see the videos. Roll the videotape. I want to see every single videotape before I can really reach a conclusion. But the bottom line is the following. The fact that this woman was running this man's business does not mean she had anything at all to do with this freak off or that she was part of a RICO conspiracy, because it is quite possible and possibly maybe even likely that this man's business enterprise and his freak-offs had nothing to do with one another. The prosecution is trying to put it all together because they need it in order to prove their RICO case. But in the same breath, they say that, well, she was responsible for bringing wads of cash to Puffy to pay these sex workers. This blows up the RICO case. This isn't how RICO works. Puffy is not supposed to be bringing money to pay off people. People are supposed to be bringing money to pay off Puffy. That's how racketeering works. Racketeering means Puffy is getting wads of cash from somebody else. Someone else is giving Kristina Khorram the cash, wads of cash, which she then hands to her boss, Puffy. This is racketeering. Not that Puffy hires a bunch of, sex workers and she brings wads of cash, her or Miami. So what is it? Young Miami. I don't even know who. Look, I mean, I have no idea. Look, I'm just saying, allegedly. Okay, I have no idea. But I just brought this up because I'm like, who is Kristina Khorram in this Diddy mess? You know what I mean? Okay, that's all for this one. See you in the next one. Take care. Bye.